Hey, what's up guys, Morey here, and today we're gonna be going over 21 of the best acceleration drills and exercises for you to be able to improve your acceleration. I will go a little bit into why each one ends up being important, talk a little bit about the mechanics, but for the most part, I really just wanna focus on the exercise, and you should be able to kind of see how it impacts your acceleration. We'll start off against the wall. I think the wall drills are a great thing to be able to use to help you with your acceleration. The big thing here is we just wanna make sure we're all the way up onto our toes. I'll see a lot of people that as soon as they wanna go against the wall, they want to drop the heels down, where it's important to get as much of your weight on the front part of the toe and then just keep your hips down. We don't want to be back here. We want to just keep those hips down. We can start with that knee up, kind of toe up, and then we're just kind of switching here. And I think this is really a great thing to just help with being able to work on that foot strike. So you can start off with one, and then we can go three quick. That's another one. And then we can also just kind of sprint. And again, all of those we're working on how we're striking the ground on that. And then I could also use the band as another way to add some additional resistance if you feel like you need some, but still the goal ends up being the same, where I'm just getting my leg up, and I could either kind of pulse here, or I could also kind of switch. The big thing with those wall drills, we really just want to concentrate on getting out with the foot position and making sure as we're landing on that front part of the foot with that heel up the best that you can. Or another way that I'll put it is like, you want that knee to be in front of the foot as it's striking the ground. All right, these next ones are great because you could just do them at home. You don't need a lot of space to be able to work on them. And I think it helps in being able to get in some of the right angles you need to be able to run fast. And the first one's just gonna be a half kneeling. And you really wanna make sure before we're starting here, we're really forward within our body. We're keeping this front heel kind of off the ground the best we can. We're trying to get our hips to come forward the whole time and not lift up too much as we're accelerating out, really focusing on like those first 3 steps, getting outwards within those. And another thing you could do with that is that ends up being helpful is you could also kind of strike the ground with this foot. Again, you want to be thinking about pulling that foot down and back as we're doing this, as we are pushing forward. Next one's one of my all-time favorites. Really, if you could do this well, you're going to be able to run fast, which is just single leg broad jumps. You're just on one foot, jumping straight up. Another really helpful one is just going to be a quick single leg jump back to then being able to broad jump forward. So I'm just here and then jumping here and jumping and just landing with that heel up. Next one's just gonna be bounds, and for this I'm just really trying to be able to work on getting those knees up quick and really pulling back and snapping with that foot back underneath as I'm getting distance here on each one of these steps. And to me, this is really what you're doing as you are accelerating, is we're trying to get good height with the legs, but still be able to maintain a strong force into the ground to make it so that we can effectively accelerate. So that is a critical exercise to work on to be better at your acceleration. Another big one just gonna be a broad jump. For this one, I like to go broad jump, single leg jump. We see a lot of sprinters that do this, where it's here, jump, bound, and then land. And you can even do that into a sprint, but again, it's just gonna be broad, bound, and then land. Just working on that quick foot contact and being able to be explosive with the push off and get plenty of length on each one of those. Next one to me is just gonna be a depth jump. I like this. First, you can just work on being able to land with that heel off the ground and kind of that knee forward and just being able to control the landing there. So I'm here, control, and then you can kind of feel yourself ready to push off. And I'm really almost trying to push my toes in the ground, kind of spread them out. And then I could also take that into a broad jump and being nice and quick, or even kind of the first 3 steps to make it so I already have some power, some momentum into it. So I'm here, boom, 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 boom. And it really helps create that natural kind of turnover. So if you're struggling with turnover, this could be a good one here, because as soon as you land, you just want to think about being able to use that momentum to make it so we can get the feet down quickly and continue to accelerate. Next one's just gonna be the forward ankle jump. So I'm gonna have 2 feet down, and I'm just trying to get good action off of the ground here, getting my toes up as I'm moving forward. Good quick foot contact time. I'm gonna also do that on one leg, just working on getting my toes up on these, kind of pumping my arms as I go through. Big mistake I see people make is they just will be like jumping and keeping the toe down. We wanna make sure we're keeping the knees straight and really lifting up in the toes as we're doing those. Next one's just gonna be a lateral jump to a broad jump. The reason for this is a lot of times when we're accelerating, we're gonna be kind of landing with the foot going a little bit to the side, and then we wanna be able to push right back off, so we're kind of working on that here, where we're going to the side and then landing, pushing right back off, and just doing that nice and quickly. This one's good just to be able to work on just being really quick with the foot contact, so you're just gonna be on one foot, and you can just find a line, and we're just trying to go quickly over and back on the line. We could also obviously switch feet. I also would like to do this one too, especially for younger athletes, where you're just like here, just being nice and quick with the foot. We also would want to go to the side here, just build up that calf strength, that foot contact, and even some rhythm within the arms as we're doing this. Another important thing is just going to be the resistance sprints. So you can see, I mean, I have this set up to a Raptor. Typically you'll end up having to use like some type of partner. You could also use like a parachute, or some people have like the sleds that you can use as well. A big one would just be just sort of resistance sprint. So I'm just gonna take 4 steps nice and quick, working on that acceleration, that hard foot strike into the ground, and being nice and quick with a little bit of resistance. And just working that over and over again. And I'll even have people just work on one foot just to kind of feel what that feels like. And that's another good one, where you can see I was just doing my right leg there, and then I can go back to doing my left leg. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm just thinking about pulling right back, have a little bit of resistance to maintain that forward lean. I also like just almost like a horizontal high knees, which is another way I'll try to teach people of how you want to be able to accelerate. So you're going to be forward, almost like that wall drill, but now we're just thinking high knees, 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 and just being as quick as you can. So you're just trying to be as quick as you can with your feet, but still maintaining good height, maintain that forward lean. This helps you in being able to just keep that forward position. And then another great one would just be broad jumps, but make sure we're getting our knees up here on these jumps, quick off the ground. Another critical way to improve your acceleration, you gotta have some resistance stuff that you're doing. You can even do some type of hill sprint as well, but I really like a sled, a Raptor, just using a band. All those things are gonna be great. All right, so these are just gonna be things that you can do in the gym. I saved this for last because I don't think everybody will have easy access to this type of stuff, but if you do have access to a kettlebell and you can work on just going up and down with those ankles, I think that's great. Also, just getting full circles here. This is the 18-pound kettlebell, and we're just working on being able to increase the range in the ankle joint. Super helpful to just have the strength necessary to be powerful through your ankles. And then another good thing is just having a weight here. This is gonna be probably about 6 inches or so, and I'm just on one foot, and I'm just going to quickly jump up onto the weight and just trying to keep my heel off of the ground. Maybe doing like 15 to 20 of these reps, I think is really good, but we could also increase the height of this if this ends up being too easy. Next one's just gonna be a single leg assisted jump. And so this one I'm really working on being able to be powerful with my foot strike. I kind of did this before when I was doing those moving ones, but this one's helpful because you have that band to help assist you. It gets really tiring really quickly, but it's great to build up that strength, again, within the feet, within the ankles, and just get that coordination in your brain to what you want to be doing with the feet as you're striking the ground. This one's just gonna be a bent knee calf raise. So what I'm doing here is I'm just bending my knee nice and close to the ground, and I'm just pushing forward here. This is something that you can do really anywhere, to be honest, but it's really helpful to get that correct shin angle. So you can see my knees in front of my toes, and I'm really just working on the heel action. I don't want to be extending and straightening my knee. I want to lock that knee in and only work through the ankle joint. Another good one, just because the goal is to keep your heel up as you are accelerating, is to be able to just do that, keep the heel up as we're going through a squat, all the way down, come back up. This will make it so then you can kind of build up the control in the feet, control in the ankles, to make it so then you can control that as you are striking the ground. It may look easy, but it could be a little bit more challenging, especially for people that need to really work on that position of the heel as they're striking the ground. So 21 exercises, that probably will end up being closer to 25, but wanted to be able to provide a lot of value for you to help you in being able to accelerate. The acceleration is key. Sports performance, acceleration in track, on the field, in court sports, everything like that, you gotta be able to accelerate to be great, especially like basketball, baseball, things like that, where it's not a lot of long distance sprinting. It's more about how well you can accelerate. this is a great thing to be able to do to be able to help you maximize your overall potential as an athlete. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.